In the last several decades, absolutely fray and decline. When I saw those guys on the boats, on their knees, I mean, that says a picture about America that I haven't seen ever before. He's woken up a group of people, Neil, that have gone ignored. And Donald Trump, to me, is the last hope for America.
This country has such potential. I love the country. You have to have heart. You have to take care of women's health issues. You have to take care of poor people that don't have, that they're never going to have a shot. And you have to take care of African-American youth who have never been in a worse position than they are right now.
We are standing up for America and for the American people.
There's a group of people in America that feel like they've been ignored. I know that for a fact. They feel like this country has let them down, and the left has hijacked, and some of the right has hijacked our nation. So this is what Donald Trump answers to. It's not anger, it's love of country. And they've all of the media is getting it wrong.
You can't let the critics and the naysayers get in the way of your dreams. Adversity makes you stronger. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right. Nothing worth doing ever came easy. And the more righteous your fight, the more opposition that you will face. The people built this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
First jobs report of a full month of the Trump presidency showed the economy added 235,000 jobs in February. The unemployment rate dropped down to 4.7%.
More jobs available than people available to fill them. Never seen that before. See that from the Atlanta Fed? They're predicting 4.8% growth for the economy. That's huge. If you've watched this program, you'll know we have a generational low for unemployment, an all-time low for African-American unemployment. That's historic.
Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
North Korea is issuing a new warning to the United States. Korea warned of a super mighty preemptive strike.
Getting a good picture, everybody, so we look nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Young.
They will work toward the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
Breaking news, the U.S. economy added 304,000 jobs last month. That was way ahead of expectations, and it was despite a record-breaking government shutdown.
Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to fight, fight, fight. We are all Americans, and we are all united by one shared destiny. So I'm asking everyone to join this incredible moment. I'm asking you to dream big again. Dream bold, big and bold. Dream big and bold and daring.
President Trump has ordered the Pentagon to pull all U.S. troops out of Syria.
We can make our communities safer, our families stronger, our culture richer, our faith deeper, and our middle class bigger and more prosperous than ever before. Alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country. America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free. America will never be a socialist country, but we must reject the politics of revenge, resistance, and retribution, and embrace the boundless potential. We must choose between greatness or gridlock, results or resistance, vision or vengeance, incredible progress or pointless destruction. Tonight, I ask you to choose greatness. I am asking all citizens to embrace this renewal of the American spirit. Seize this moment, believe in yourselves, believe in your future, and believe once more in America. I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
The forgotten man and the forgotten woman. You're not forgotten anymore.
Hello, happy Saturday. Thanks for joining me here. Hopefully, you're having a great day and staying focused, balanced. I know things have been quite challenging. We had a declaration of the media today that has determined the propaganda resource that there's a certain traitor who's been named president. So I guess if that's can be done, then you know, guess we can call ourselves anything we want. This is a interesting time of life, but truly believe that truth will prevail, and we're in the best place we can be. There's a lot of things that have keeping me up, keeping me hopeful. I believe there's a lot of good things in the mix. So um, I believe that in next coming days we're going to see some pretty intense stuff going down, but I I have full faith that everything will be come out exactly as it's supposed to. So that being said, I figured since Joe Biden can crown himself president, feel that guess we can crown ourselves anything we want, and so guess I'm gonna crown us Lord of Lord, the King of Kings. You're the lion. This tribe, this patriots have come together. Our president has stood tall with nothing but courage and fierce grace. And I can't imagine that he's going to lead us in any other way than with his graceful journey, his graceful path. So, yeah, thanks for joining me on this Saturday, and thanks for staying true to your hearts and true to this path of true patriots. There's no more time that we need each other than right now. And when we're facing a sea of corruption and false narratives and mainstream lies, uh, we need to stay together and united in this situation. I know there's going to be traitors falling from the ranks on the left and right everywhere we look. People who we thought stood by us are now going to reveal themselves for who they truly are. It's not going to be easy, as I said yesterday, but we got this, you know. True patriots know that God is always at our side, and you know, I think that we have continually been shown over and over and over again through this journey that the patriots will not let us down. Those who have stayed true to the movement, stayed true to their hearts, and stayed connected to their purpose, stayed connected to God, have been rewarded over and over and over again. This is a little reminder. If you have been called to be a warrior, if you've been called to be a soldier of God, you already know the fight is against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Hold the line, patriots. Little meme I put together today. So I'm going to share that with you all. We all need some hope in this time. And I think that we can together support each other. And we can be there for each other through this time of struggles. And yeah, there's so many people showing up that it's been rewarding to watch how much support continues to arise, and how many people will fight to the death to protect this country, to protect this society, protect this ideals of what this world is all about, what our liberty, what our freedom, what this country is all about. Here's a gathering of patriots in Lansing, Michigan.
Liars! The Democrats are hateful! The Democrats are deceiving us! But what they don't understand is that the Patriots will not back down. And what they don't understand is we got enough facts to the Democrats are liars! The Democrats.
So that was Michigan, Lansing, Michigan. It's been rallies all over the country, and patriots just standing up for what is right, what do they believe in. We know that there's nothing that holds back the spirit of the patriot. So let's check this one out. This is in Phoenix, Arizona today. Patriots all come together in downtown. I just love to point out that the true patriots stand together in peace and support. That's what this movement's about. That's who we truly are. If we look at the left and look at the right and look at the differences in the way that we fight, you can tell that one stands with God and one has very little faith. One has very little moral standards and codes. And we're now being asked to choose what side that we want to be on. Being asked to really show ourselves in our truth. And one person who showed themselves in their truth right now, this morning, this was shared originally. The first time I saw was Ethical Hacker Access or Red Pill Project. Josh over there, thank you for your post. Made my day today. I woke up not feeling overly positive, but seeing this made me smile. So this is a little picture. It looks like it's at the golf course, probably in New Jersey, most likely. And this is the president coming out to greet a wedding party at a club. This does not look like a man who's panicking. I think he's holding it together, fully calm, fully collected.
Are you kidding me right now? Oh my God.
What a blessing to have our president come out on the day of your wedding, and for him to take time to come and take pictures with the bride and the wedding party. What a man of heart. What a man of amazing composure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you.
Was that so cool? Oh my God! I should have gotten a picture. I can't breathe. We should have gotten.
What an exciting moment. It's a wedding that you'll never forget. The wedding already is an amazing time of your life, but to have the greatest president the United States has ever had to show up to your wedding and take time to have pictures with you, it's what a blessing. Now that is a true president. That's a true leader, true man of compassion. And I look up to that man so much. As a person who's had lots of issues with authority and men in my life in the past, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever loved a man the way I love this man. He's a real role model to me in so many ways, and I look forward to seeing justice served and the fraud brought to light, and this president sitting in the White House for 4 more years. Let's take a look at a little statement that was given by the Trump campaign today. This is on Newsmax and read by Emerald Robinson.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Just the president putting out a statement. He left the White House a little while earlier today. Clearly, they were expecting this. The Trump campaign prepared with a statement from the president. So it is a lengthy statement. We are going to read it in full since it is such a momentous occasion at this moment. So I'll start reading it. It says, quote, "We all know why Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner and why his media allies are trying so hard to help him. They don't want the truth to be exposed. The simple fact is this election is far from over. Joe Biden has not been certified as the winner of any states, let alone any of the highly contested states headed for mandatory recounts, or states where our campaign has valid and legitimate legal challenges that could determine the ultimate victor. In Pennsylvania, for example, our legal observers were not permitted meaningful access to watch the counting process. Legal votes decide who is president, not the news media. Beginning Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. The American people are entitled to an honest election. That means counting all legal ballots and not counting any illegal ballots. This is the only way to ensure the public has full confidence in our election. It remains shocking, it remains shocking that the Biden campaign refuses to agree with the basic principle and wants ballots counted even if they are fraudulent, manufactured, or cast by ineligible or deceased voters. Only a party engaged in wrongdoing would unlawfully keep observers out of the count room and then fight in court to block their access. So what is Biden hiding? I will not rest until the American people have the honest vote count and they deserve and that democracy demands. Now, Tom, we've been hearing from more officials in the Trump camp, specifically Jenna Ellis, who's often on this network. She sent me her statement, which says media coordinated efforts are attempting to simply declare Joe Biden the president and ignore the rule of law. She went on to say, the rule of law, excuse me. She went on to say that this is not over until every vote is counted. And you do have to keep in mind, as you said, Tom, we're not calling it here at Newsmax. There's still outstanding races. There's still outstanding votes to be counted. In addition to that, there are these recounts that are supposed to happen in Wisconsin and Georgia. There's questions about Arizona. There's Pennsylvania, particularly. We heard from the president's legal team there today. They're filing several lawsuits. In addition to that, there's something before the Supreme Court in regards to that state and a 3-day extension. Some of those ballots might be thrown out after November the 3rd. They've been asked to be segregated in case the court rules that the November 3rd deadline extension of 3 days, extending it to yesterday, was not valid. So there's still a lot of questions about this. And so the Trump team is saying that declaring Joe Biden president at this point is very premature.
The exception of Michigan, all of these states that we've been talking about, the margins are razor thin. We're talking 30,000, 50,000, 20,000 votes, where some sort of systemic problem that has been raised could make a difference. But the fun is going to start really on Monday when they start filing these complaints and they start taking this matter to court.
That's true. And you mentioned that it is razor thin in most states but Michigan, but the Trump campaign and the RNC still have a lot of grievances in Michigan. And if you've seen, RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel was in that state yesterday doing a press conference about some of the evidence of fraud they say that they have found specifically in that state. There's also news today of a whistleblower in the state of Michigan working with the FBI regarding the backdating of ballots that came in, the postmarks on those to make them seem as if they were valid. And there's just questions about the statistical anomalies of votes that were found in states like Michigan and Wisconsin that came in the middle of the night that went almost 100% for Joe Biden. And in addition to that, in different states, just a lot of questions that they feel need to be resolved before you can declare either Joe Biden or President Trump the winner.
Yeah, and you know, the timing on all of this, Emerald, still certainly fascinates me. We talk a lot about media collusion with the Democratic Party, and you know, here we have the president just leaving the White House. We believe to go to his golf course to play around the golf, and he deserves to be able to do that. We have the press conference that Rudy Giuliani is going to hold in Philadelphia happening, and at the very same time, all of a sudden, all of the networks, with the exception of Newsmax, decide that this is the time that they are going to call the election. We are here at Newsmax, as I mentioned, not calling the election for Joe Biden, and I'd like to read you a statement from our management. At this time, Newsmax is not calling Joe Biden the winner of the election. The election remains very close, and President Trump continues to contest results in several states. All votes should be counted. The media should not make the determination of the winner under these circumstances.
There we go. Great statement by the president and his campaign. Just bringing some all up to date, keeping us in check and balanced. As we know, we're going forward. We're going to keep getting lots of misinformation every way possible. They're going to try to control this narrative from censoring us on all the social media platforms, taking down channels like it has happened on Clout Hub. If you haven't noticed, X22 and woke societies and pretty much every channel on Clout Hub has been taken down currently. From what I understand, IBM is their carrier, and IBM has pulled every account simply for apparently one person's comment that apparently they interpreted as calling for a coup. So see what happens with that, but censorship's going to be far and wide, and we're going to continue to see all sorts of issues on the media and controlling this narrative. But remember, the corporate media and big tech does not certify an election. We need to maintain our understanding that this election has not been called, and just because the media outlets have declared Joe Biden, the president-elect, that this is a fraudulent election, and all of the fraud will be brought to light. Got a little clip here from the speech today from Joe Biden. I'm sorry, not Joe Biden, Rudy Giuliani. He came out with a little press conference today, and this is just a little clip that basically shows us exactly what I'm talking about.
Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden isn't who was it called by? All. Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden isn't who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks. We have to forget about the law. Judges don't count. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%. Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do. Because they don't.
There we go. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do. Rudy Giuliani, he's been here standing up and just holding the line like one of the bosses, man. He's out there getting it done. I had a link I wanted to show you from James O'Keefe and Project Veritas that was just released minutes ago, and Twitter took it down just as it was released. So yeah, that's interesting. Basically, it was the video itself was taken down. However, this is the tweet that was out there. Bucks County, Pennsylvania Board of Election Directors Tom Freitag confirms spoiled ballots were illegally handled and destroyed. The poll workers should not have thrown it in the garbage. Whoever the judge of elections didn't do it correctly. So spoiled ballots. We have a video. Let's see if I can track this down real quick. But there's been all sorts of illegal cover-ups happening here and there. Let's see if Project Veritas was still up on YouTube. Let's find out. All right, I think I found it here. Let's see what we got. I have not seen this yet myself.
We've just got done going through the 2 garbage bags that we obtained from Bucks out of the dumpster. This is some of the ballot paraphernalia that we've discovered. You can see some signatures from some voters here. Looks like these ballots, they spoiled on some of these. We have some pieces here. A number of envelopes with signatures. A couple full ones too. There's some more down here.
Just to reiterate, this does appear like an official ballot, and the rules were not followed correctly, right?
That's what it looks like to me.
Fair enough.
What reason would someone have to not follow that process?
Ignorance, not knowing, not understanding, brand new law.
So there's a detailed process in place?
Yes.
And this clearly shows that the process was not handled?
Yes, whoever was the judge of elections didn't do it correctly. The poll workers should not have thrown it in the garbage.
Is it legal to throw it in the garbage?
I do not know if it's legal to throw it in the garbage, but it should be sent back to us, and so we can hold on to it for, I believe it's 22 months.
Where does the spoiled ballot ultimately end up at the end of its life cycle?
It will be stored for 2 years, and then it will be shredded.
So if we can just kind of start over with the spoiled ballots as to what happens with them once they become spoiled.
So they become spoiled and they're spoiled on them and they're going into a spoiled bag that's kept in the warehouse after election day for a period of time. And I did talk to some, I believe it's 3 years that we have to hold on to them, and then nothing gets thrown out. I believe after the period they get shredded, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
There we go. The most recent from Project Veritas. These guys have been doing an amazing job getting out there in the streets and just contacting every person involved in this situation and bringing it all to light. I want to thank them for all their hard work. True patriots, really fighting the good fight and supporting our president, which is exactly what we all need to be doing right now. And it's not just the ballots that we've got an issue with. We got an issue with the counting machines. We've got an issue with the software, as we heard yesterday. It's just all over the map, and you know, there's people like Tom Fitton who are out there, and people like Project Veritas, and there's all these organizations who have been starting to bring this to light. And there's a couple counties in Michigan which have they call glitches in their system, but we know there's nothing that reacts like changing numbers just specifically just to help one person. So we're seeing a lot of just absolute blatant fraud. So we've got all sorts of other stuff. We've got a few other things that I'd love to share. I might have shared this yesterday, but if not, this is Rona McDaniel. She's going to talk about what's been happening in Pennsylvania.
Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, good to have you with us. We know that you are engaged in a massive battle to bring some light to what is darkness right now, and that is the lack of transparency over the vote counting. Where are we tonight? How do you feel about the prospects for the Republican Party and President Trump in this contest?
Thank you, Lou. I'm actually in Georgia tonight. We've deployed 4 legal teams to Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Michigan. We are collecting statements from individuals who saw irregularities, who were part of vote counting, and we are going to turn those into affidavits and take legal action as necessary in Michigan. We've discovered a whistleblower who was an election official who was told to backdate ballots. They have alleged that everybody working in Detroit was told to do this practice for ballots that were empty to backdate them to November 2nd, November 3rd, so they would count. So these are the types of allegations that are very serious and have implications on election integrity, and the media should be pursuing them with us.
And is the media? How curious are the media that have been aligned with Joe Biden's campaign throughout?
Not very concerned. We did have a press conference today in Michigan. And the other thing we've seen, Lou, and this only happens in Democrat-run counties like Philadelphia, like Detroit, where our poll watchers who are trained, who are allowed to be there legally to observe the election so they can go assure people that it was done in a fair manner, were removed systematically from Detroit. Some of them have put statements forward, and I've read hundreds of them today, saying that as spoiled ballots were put in one box, they would look back and they would be returned to the good ballot box. All these types of issues we ran into. You just saw in Detroit, election workers were cheering as our poll watchers were removed from what they are legally allowed to do. The padlocks are put on doors, their windows were boarded up. these types of things do not ensure confidence in election integrity. So we're asking for transparency, we're asking for patience, and allow us to pursue these irregularities and then investigate them.
Well, right now, effectively the vote count is continuing. It hasn't been put on hold, but at the same time, Joe Biden is leading. He's 6 votes short by the media's count. What I'm stunned by is that many people don't realize we're waiting here for a media declaration that he's president-elect. It is really an expression, by the way, of the corporate owners of those media outlets and networks who would be making that decision. We've reached a pretty sorry state in our electoral process, where corporate America are the ones deciding when we have a president-elect. Don't you think? And don't you think that also should be changed?
It should. I mean, the best example of that is the early call for Arizona. Arizona had more votes out, votes that could absolutely tip the balance towards President Trump. And yet when Michigan and Pennsylvania and Georgia had significant margins in favor of President Trump, they refused to call those states for President Trump. So it's a total hypocrisy in how this is done. Now, there's going to be a recount in Georgia. There's going to be a recount in Wisconsin. There are a significant amount of provisional ballots left in Pennsylvania. Arizona still is counting votes, and President Trump continues to narrow that margin. So this is not over yet, and we're going to pursue this, and we will pursue every single irregularity.
Do you believe that the Supreme Court, where are you legally turning next? What is it you're planning to have happen, hoping will happen in the ensuing days here?
Well, I think we've got to get through the canvassing process, which states have, and then the certification process. Today in Michigan, for example, through the canvassing process, they found an error where 2,000 ballots were double counted for Democrats. That is a problem. That's why you have the
because of a software problem.
A clerical error.
Well, that was because of a software, Rana.
There was another software problem.
Was that the software problem? Okay.
It was a different county in Antrim County where 6,000 votes were misassigned to Joe Biden. The congressman in that district noticed it. We found the software anomaly, and now we know that 47 other counties use that same software. So we're going to audit that. So right now we're in an evidence gathering phase. That's why we have a hotline, and that we're asking people to let us know at 888-503-3526. If they have any of these irregularities that they saw, we'll pursue them, and then we will pursue legal action and let these recounts take place and let the counting finish in states like Georgia that still hasn't seen all their military ballots be counted.
All right. Ronna McDaniel, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Ronna McDaniel, the chair of the Republican National Committee.
Ronna McDaniel keeping us up to date, letting us know where we're at. And there's just so much happening. It's hard to keep track of it all. Everything's just moving so quick. And I think the best thing that we can all do as Anons out here, as patriots, people who are trying to fight for the truth, is to just continue to share truths, things that we know, things that we can't be disputed, and keep the eye on the prize, So these people, this team, these group of patriots are out there fighting for us. And as we know, we need to fight for them. And the only best way, if you can't get out there in person and stand by these counting polls, counting locations, then share the information as far and wide. Continue to battle the mainstream narrative and let people know that this is not over with. We can't give up. We need to keep heart, and there's no surrender. This dog ain't laying down. So we stay true. We stay hardened to the facts, and we continue to show faith. This weekend's probably going to be the most difficult weekend. The fight really begins on Monday. Courts open up on Monday, and things go into full effect. So It's General Michael Flynn was on Newsmax today, giving some positive reinforcement, and listen closely to some of his messages here.
Do you have any confidence in this current count of this election?
Yeah, so let me just give you kind of a couple of sound bites, if you will. But this election is about the national security. This is going forward, the national security country, and whether or not we're going to have the country that we deserve. It's about economic prosperity, and it's about the saving or the protecting of our constitutional rights, especially as we are observing this outrageous election process. You just played Vice President Biden talking about how everybody has to be patient. Well, they were about to claim victory last night up until Justice Alito from the Supreme Court made the ruling in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So what I would say is you be patient, and let's all be patient here in America. The biggest counsel I could provide, Carl, is for everybody around the country needs to take a deep breath.
Right.
On the battlefield, and you know this, Carl, from your experience, fighting alongside of us in Iraq and Afghanistan, but we always have to take the harder right path, which is a tougher path, versus taking what I call the easier wrong path, which is always the wrong path. It's never the easier path is never the right path. Mm-hmm. And the easier path for the current administration would be to just give in. And we cannot give in based on what we have seen already and the evidence that has already been brought to light, particularly this mess up in Michigan with this Dominion software. That's just it's outrageous that one county, and I guess they have 47 counties that this software is in, and now come to find out it's in as many as 30 states. So. Right. So there has to be an investigation. There has to be a slowdown. Everybody has to slow down and take a deep breath because of the things that we need in this country going forward. Is we need, and the president has said this, I think, in his great statement. We have to have trust. We have to have transparency. Americans are resilient people. We can withstand the weight that we are in right now. There's going to be a lot of gnashing of teeth, obviously. This is bigger than the presidency. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is bigger than President Donald J. Trump, than Vice President Biden. Much bigger. This is the presidency of the United States of America. It's the Constitution of the United States of America. It's the process that we have had for almost 250 years. And my last point, Carl, and I'll shut up here for a second, is pressure by the media to call this election is totally irresponsible.
Yeah. No, I could not echo your sentiments anymore, General. One of the things is you obviously ran the intelligence community. You were in the White House for a while. This is something you have seen the inner bowels of the innermost workings of D.C., of the intelligence committee, and dare I say deep state. So what concerns you most? And I know you're going through your own legal process right now that I don't want to touch on out of respect for that. But what concerns you most about the process you're seeing right now and how it's being played out?
Yeah, so that's a great question. What I have observed in my time in Washington, D.C., and frankly, it really wasn't that long. I wasn't in Washington, D.C. that many years as a general officer, as a political person, obviously. But I would tell you that what I know and what I have seen are the deep-seated and the deep levels of corruption in our government. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking, but I have seen that. I have observed it. I know of it. And we are seeing the American public, they saw it over the last 4 years with the whole Russia, the impeachment, all the things that we know about. And what the American people are seeing is that we have a problem in Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. is not going to fix the problem.
Right.
The problem will only be fixed. It will only be fixed by an awake America of patriots that we have seen around the country. The media, I always said that the two biggest problems in the United States are Hollywood and New York City because nobody pays any attention to the quote-unquote flyover patriots that exist around the country. Right. These people have woken up, and we must now get this process right. Yeah. If we do not get this process right, then we're not going to have a country.
I completely agree, sir. And, I got into a disagreement with one of my friends the other day who happens to be on the other side of the political spectrum. And they said, I don't know why you're so concerned about this. I said, I went overseas for 9 years for this country, for our rights. And I've seen elections in countries that don't have the same privileges we have. And, sir, dare I say that if we allow to succumb to questionable elections, do we have a country left?
Yeah. So I was involved directly in the elections in Iraq. Remember, for the listeners, your viewers, they will remember the pictures of the people with the blue fingerprints. They went and voted, right? And it was a big deal. So I was directly involved in that, and I was directly, even more so, involved in the elections in Afghanistan. We were proud, the American military and the international community in Afghanistan, we were proud of the way we ran a free and fair election process in two countries while we were in combat. And
right.
and I can sit here today and tell you and your viewers that was a point of pride certainly for us who were responsible for running those elections. And they were not without challenges, but they were free and fair. And the people of those countries felt very upbeat about what happened. And so why can't we do that here in this country? And I won't rehash all the things that other commentators have said about, why is Florida, which has 2 time zones, lots of people able to get their stuff knocked out by 10 o'clock at night, and you don't have North Carolina, Georgia. I mean, all of the stuff that we're seeing unfolding. What I think is happening is there is an unraveling, and my belief is that the technical side of this election, so the electronic voting is there's probably some problems there, and they're going to find those out. Michigan is one of the examples. And I think that what happened was when the votes didn't get to the numbers that they needed, now we come in with the mail-in ballots. And I strongly believe that they are going to find mail-in ballot problems like we already have seen that were after the fact to get to the numbers to achieve a victory. That's what we don't need. I pray that I'm wrong. But that's my gut following a lot of information and a lot of insight and a lot of the things going on and from some very smart people who watch this stuff all the time, who aren't necessarily one of the big political pundits on TV who come on and they don't really know anything.
Right.
I'll go back to the beginning, Carl, and I'll stop. This is about our national security. This is about our economic prosperity. And this is about our constitutional rights. If we don't get this election right, we lose in all 3 of those cases.
No, I completely agree, sir. And I remember some of those elections over in Iraq where people under threat of death in some cases turned out to vote in 90% margins. And here in America, 60, 70, maybe 80% turnout here. It's shocking that the rights we have, that we, A, aren't being honored with, and B, are grossly overlooked. Now, I want to go into something. Your lawyer, Sidney Powell, has been involved with this legal effort. Can you talk a little bit about her involvement with that at all, and how that maybe helps or hurts your case?
Well, I think that here's how I would just state it. I believe that every American that's out there that feels like they have an ability to help the country overcome what is clearly a problematic presidential election, they need to step up. And even in my case, where I am still sort of in limbo, waiting on a final decision, which I think we'll get. Any American that has an ability to be able to help, they need to step up and help instead of back there wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth and saying, well, they should do this, they should do that. Step up, America, and step up in a big way, especially if you have an ability to help at your local level or your state level or certainly the national level. And there's plenty of places to call, and there's plenty of representatives out there now who are in place and are going to be in place that would ask for that kind of help. So in the case of what I think Sydney's involved in, she's one of those great patriots who is stepping up for the country in a time of need.
Yeah, no, we've had her on this program, and she is a remarkable person. And one of the things, too, is we've seen this. I mean, like the left has refused to accept that Trump won the presidency in 2016, and they fought against members of his cabinet. They fought against you. They fought against him for 4 years. And now we're, going through this whole thing, and the left is saying, well, let's just accept the results of the election. When Trump is winning a state by 150, 200, 300,000 votes, they're like, well, we can't call it yet. But then when Joe Biden comes up by 2,000, 3,000 with questionable voting machines, they're like, we need to call it now. Joe Biden's the president. Accept it. Move on. How are we supposed to bring this back together as a country if we can't even trust that?
Yeah, with no proof, we beat this president over his head and shoulders about Russia interference in our elections, and come to find out there's zero proof of that. And now all of a sudden we see egregious levels of behavior and corruption in some states. And for these people in these states, they have to be embarrassed. And so now nobody wants to see if we have election interference. I mean, give me a break. So what everybody needs to do is take a deep breath. We need to let this process play out. I strongly believe that that there was, that President Trump won on Tuesday night, the night of the election. I mean, we'll see what the outcome is. Maybe I'm wrong. But the process has to play out. It has to play out now. Every legal vote must be counted, and I agree with that. But it has to be counted in the appropriate manner, under the transparency of observers. With a legal process in place, and hopefully election personnel who are unbiased, and they only want to protect the integrity of our election process. If we don't have that, again, I will say that we do not have a country, and we right now we're at risk. This is going to place this country at risk if we get this wrong.
Yeah. Well, General Flynn, out of respect for your time, we appreciate you joining us, sir. You're a hero and a patriot. We appreciate it.
General Flynn, what a true soldier, true gentleman, stepping up and just calling us out. It's time. If there's any way that you can help your country, now is the time. Now is the time to make phone calls, to get out there, to share information, to do everything possible to make sure that our liberty, the integrity of this election process is maintained. And as we go forward, it's every effort that we can put in is necessary. Now is the time. So Steve Cortez got a little message for us too. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Patriots, a lot of us in the America First movement are understandably frustrated because we believe that corrupt forces are trying to commandeer and steal away the legitimate re-election of Donald Trump. But how are we channeling that frustration? Well, we're organizing, persuading, appealing to the courts, and peacefully protesting. The left, unfortunately, believes in seizing political power through force. Their methods are rioting, looting, disrespect for the police. But we believe in the rule of law. We believe in our sacred Constitution, which is why we are going to continue to keep fighting until we confirm the election of Donald Trump. Patriots, a lot of us in the America First movement are understandably frustrated because we believe that corrupt forces are trying to
There we go. There's all sorts of things we can do. And it's time to find out what you're best at and make it happen. Time to rise up, use your talents, your skills, your voice, your platform, whatever it might be that you have for you, and let's make this happen. It's time to stand for what you believe in and come out full force, full heart, and full energy, just leaving it all on the table and knowing that this is exactly why we're here. This is what we were born for, and we've been prepared for this moment and this time. And the time is now, though it will never be another time like this. This is exactly what we've come here for. So, Patriots, time to get ready, time to focus in and activate, fully activate. Bill Binney had a little message for us about exactly what glitches in software looks like. It's a quick little message. Let's listen to this patriot, and he was a whistleblower who came out, and he's been there for us. There are some good technological information about program into software. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So let's hear what he has to say.
Well, these things that they're calling glitches in software that are randomly changing only certain votes, they're not glitches at all. Those are programmed. Those are programmed into the software. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. If there's a problem in software, we call those bugs. If the bug is in the software, it does everything consistently with everything, not just selectively picking things. If only certain things are selected, picked, and changed, that's not a bug. That's designed in the software. That's intentional.
There you go. That's intentional. We've got it nice and clear message there. And it's going to continue to be brought to light as we go forward. And there's a little video here on election fraud that I'm going to share with you. Some long videos. I'm just going to give you a little clip of it. It's at the most important section here. It's a little technical in the way that it works. So let's listen in.
Elections website on your computer, please. So they did. And we said, click on that link for the unofficial votes. And they did. And when they did, I said, look at that bar at the top of your screen. What's it say? They said, well, Clarity Elections. We said, yeah, you look like you're on the Kentucky State Board of Elections, but this site is Clarity. And they went, wow. And then I said, scroll down to the bottom. Who owns that page? Seidel. And that's when the discussion started. Now, this is some amazing video that you're seeing from CNN election night. And I want to go back and show you a little bit about this clip. First, I want to explain what's happening in this clip. What's happening in this clip is this is the live feed from Clarity Elections coming through the Associated Desk or Decision Desk HQ. So this is the live feed. You're seeing the database that Clarity has as it gets updated with votes, okay? And right now, oh, and this little ribbon at the bottom, this is generated by CNN. And they update this a second after they get the update from Clarity up here. So let's just look. Right now, Andy Beshear, who is the guy that upset Matt Bevin, the governor at the time, Andy Beshear has 673,948 votes. That ties to what the ribbon from CNN says. Same thing with Matt Bevin, 662,235. So 662,235. Now, let me take you through, and real quick, I'm going to run it again. You're going to see, if you're watching just this gold, you're going to see a flash update, and then this guy's face fills the page, and then I'm going to show you what you really missed. So here we go. Watch the gold. The update's coming. Boom, there it updates. And now here's this guy. Now let me show you what you missed. We're going to drag this back frame by frame. And so here we are before the update, and now I'm going to start walking you forward. Watch the gold. Here comes the update from Clarity. Boom. There it is. So now the update, Andy Beshear has 674,508 votes. And look down below, Andy Beshear had 673,948. They haven't had a chance to update the ribbon because this is in split seconds we're looking now. So Andy Beshear has just gained 560 votes. That makes sense. That's what happens as more votes come in, right? Let's look at Matt Bevin. He now has 661, 675. But look down below. He did have 662, 235. At the exact same second that Andy Beshear has gone up 560 votes, Matt Bevin has gone down 560 votes. This is vote switching in the computer. And
there we go. Good example of vote switching right there. And as we're finding out, a lot of this technology is actually owned by certain people within our electoral. It's an interesting thing. We'll have to keep a close eye on it all. It's pretty apparent to me what's going on, and hopefully it's pretty apparent to you as well. There's some more stuff that's been coming up. We got something from Steve Bannon's War Room. This is a tweet that has been banned, been censored, so hopefully play it without issues, but we'll see what happens.
This thing that's going around about this project or this system called Hammer. Explain to our audience what this is and why it should be of such concern to people in this current situation that we're in.
Yes, I will, Steve. The fact is that Hammer is what we call a SIGINT, a Signals Intelligence Program, that the NSA came up with years ago. The CIA picked it up under the Obama administration, and I broke it in March of 2017 about what they were doing on the Russian hoax. But the fact is,
they're at the countdown of the end of his presidency. That's right. And the reality is, like anything else, you better get what you can while he's there, because look, come 2016, that's it.
Well, I don't know, and I think some people are missing something here. The president has put in place an organization that contains a kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and whoever...
In terms of the Organizing for America that he's now shifting to become a 501c4.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that database will have information about everything on every individual in ways that it's never been done before, and whoever runs for president on the Democratic ticket have to deal with that.
The Obama administration took this system and they put in an application in this SIGINT program called Scorecard. And Scorecard changes votes at a certain point in the voting stream. And if I can, and by the way, the Obama administration used it in the 2012 election in Florida. And so both Obama and Biden are very familiar with this. Now, I've got to make a quote here.
Okay.
Yeah, example of exactly what we were just looking at. And we got part 2 coming up here.
Yeah.
And it's important that we all understand it. It's by Joseph Stalin. I consider it completely unimportant who in the party will vote or how. But what is extraordinarily important is this: who will count the votes? Now, Steve, we have a desperate Democratic Party that will do anything to bring the country to a totalitarian state and as far left as they want. They used it in the primaries, and Bernie lost to Biden because they used it in the primaries. So it is ready to go. I just found out about this yesterday. Sydney has played a very important role in assisting me and Mary Fanning and Alan Jones in trying to get the word out so the American people know all this enthusiasm you're talking about in Pennsylvania gets changed very quickly with this software program that switches 3% of the votes. And the fact
Yeah,
is,
hammer it one.
it was then adopted with the software packages like on your iPhone to the voting business. And it was to be used, and it was used in foreign countries. We know it's active tonight. It's active. They've been looking at a whole host of things, as has the DNC, using false IPs. And they are looking around, and they are trying to set up this voting thing that happens on Tuesday night. It's going to look good for President Trump, but they're going to change it. And that's the danger that America and everybody must realize. And so he's extremely important to what's going on. It would have happened in 2016, Steve, except something happened to it that night when the Obama crowd and the Democrats tried to use it. I can't talk about that.
There we go. Getting more and more facts about exactly what's happening and exactly what technology they've been using. And it's coming out more and more that we've seen this before, and it was utilized in 2016. However, it was stopped. It was the Patriots came together and shut it down, and somehow, obviously, he just said we can't talk about that. I look forward to hearing more information coming out about that, and I'm sure that it will come out in the near future. Everything's going to be brought to light within the next few months. I think there's nothing that can be hidden any longer, and it's time to expose all the demons. It's about to happen. So as we go through this, it's we've got to stay connected to some balance, some peace. We have to come back to some humor here and there, and listen to some music. Music's been my biggest answer. Coming back and spending a couple hours with music here and there is just absolutely one of the most important things for me. And music's incredibly healing, incredibly filling. So it's something that's been a staple in my life for a long time, and hopefully it's something that you find some peace with. But comedy is another thing that's incredibly good, and you got to laugh at this shit. And there's lots of things to laugh about here, and it's going to be comical. The entire situation is getting funnier and funnier, and I have a hard time not taking it too seriously. Something that I'm passionate about and filled with lots of emotions about, and we have to remember to try to keep those emotions under control, because they love to prey on your emotions, especially the mainstream media, especially this propaganda, big tech, and just remember, let's get to laughing. And this is something that got me laughing the other day. And so this brings a little light to maybe what's actually happening in Nevada.
I'm a Vegas poll worker, and we're sick of this shit. The ballots are right fucking here, and we're counting. We're not doing anything shady. We're not doing anything wrong. Fucking the Biden campaign came over, a little fucking help, and we're just fucking, we know we're burning the midnight oil. This is one for Trump. The Biden campaign said if a ballot looks like it was completed by a Nazi, and you can tell that, then we're not able to include it. Trump, this has a B on it. I'm just going to write Iden. This isn't a ballot. This is a grocery list, but I just wrote Kamala Harris's name on it. So this is one for Joe. 2 ballots for Joe. 3 ballots for Joe. This is a ballot for Joe Biden. So this is 300,000 votes for Joseph Biden. I hope they open shit up soon.
There we go. Hopefully that gave you a little laugh. Sometimes what I'm thinking is actually happen in these counting situations. Wouldn't surprise me in Vegas. But I've got a couple little things to close out with here. Thanks for being on the journey with me. It's great for me, just as it is for you, I hope. And it's just a way that I can continue to make use of what I'm putting together here, and it's a way that I can continue to bring my research to light, and it's therapy for me in a lot of ways, being able to share this information with somebody, so it's not just all stuck in my head. So hopefully you appreciate it, and if you do like this video, share this video, tell this this community about what's happening, and see if you, in the YouTube video anyway, I'll have a link, a Venmo link, if you want to support me. There's a Venmo link that you can make donations. My game plan is to continue to build this platform and make it a place where I can share information and news and other concepts about spirituality and future technologies and things just outside of the mainstream, things beyond the fringe, things that are not necessarily always talked about. So if we can begin to bring up the conversation about expanding consciousness and awakening human society, and we can all maybe rise together, open our minds together, and heal together. I hope to bring on some guests, and I hope to continue to build my comfort on this platform where I can continue to talk freely without stumbling over my words. It's a stretch for me to be online a little bit here, but I'm working on it. So thanks for hanging in there with me, and hopefully you join me on this ride and grow with me. This is no more important time than right now to come together, and I know there's no more important time than to share this information and to share concepts and ideas, to get people thinking freely, because that's what we need right now. Being stuck inside of the mainstream narrative, or being stuck inside of the propaganda that is being broadcast to you on a regular basis, being stuck inside the current timelines that they push, is a way to keep us trapped in mind cycles that aren't free. And so, as we can free our minds, as we can think outside of the box, as we can turn away from the mainstream narrative and start to use our own compass, our own inner voice, and really find out what's true for us, as we tap into those higher vibrations and truly understand that there's way more out there than this narrative that we're being sold, and that so much of the life that has been told to us is lies, through the pharmaceutical industry, through the media industry, so through the energy industries, through technologies, through timelines, through histories. It's all been sold to us. It's all been propaganda that's been put in place to control our minds and to control what is possible for us. And as we step outside of what is being fed to us, as we step outside of the ways that we are being controlled, we can begin to free our minds and start to think for ourselves and think freely. And even though you got a lot of people out there who are in the mainstream narrative and connected with the big tech propaganda, who think they think free for themselves. They're all being manipulated by multiple different streams of propaganda. There's many different technologies that can be used through television, through radio, through different tech programs. And hopefully we'll be bringing on a friend here soon who is a behavioral analyst, and he'll be able to discuss all the ways that human programming affect culture and affect the ways that our society operates. So we're going to go through a little bit more here, and got a couple, actually a little bit of a long video, but I think it's something that we need to see. If you choose to see it, stick around, watch it. It's really important. It's based on the color revolutions, and I shared a video the other day with Fox News, a Fox News clip. I can't remember his name right now, but Edie, I believe his name was. And he was discussing color revolutions and a guy named Norm Eisen. And it was a quick little interview. And this is a little bit more of an in-depth video. I think it's about 15 minutes. But it's something that I think that raise a lot of understandings about what's really happening here. And as we continue to go forward, we need to be completely aware what the agendas are. And the agendas that we're watching happen play out right in front of us is really locked in pretty on point with what this video has to say. So this video is from the World News Report today, originally posted on September 16th. And it's got some phenomenal information. And the gentleman, World News Report, who did this video has really studied this out really well, and he lays it out play by play. So I give thanks to the World News Report today, and we should take a look at this video and see you on the other side of it.
James Kaufman, World News Report. Today, folks, today, September 16th, 2020. It's 7:30 p.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world, folks. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell for critical future updates. Tonight, we're going to talk about the color revolution, how it's been used by the U.S. Department of Defense, who has run these operations, and how it's been used against President Donald Trump. Folks, we're going to expose the color revolution and Norm Eisen, who is currently running all efforts against President Trump. As you will find out in this video, worldwide media uses the term color revolution to describe various related movements that develop in several countries of the former Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China and the Balkans during the 21st century. The term has also been applied to a number of revolutions elsewhere, including the Middle East and the Asian Pacific region. Dating from the 1980s to 2010s, some observers have called the events a revolutionary wave, the origins of which can be traced back to the 1986 People's Power Revolution in the Philippines. Participants in color revolutions have mostly used nonviolent resistance, also called civil resistance. Such methods as demonstrations, strikes, and interventions have been aimed to protest against governments seen as corrupt or authoritarian and to advocate democracy, and they have built it up strong pressure for change. Color revolution movements generally became associated with a specific color or flower of their symbol. The color revolutions are notable for the important role of non-governmental organizations and particularly student activists in organizing creative nonviolent resistance. Such movements have had a measure of success. For example, the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia Bulldozer Revolution of 2000 and Georgia's Rose Revolution of 2003, and in Ukraine's Orange Revolution of 2004. In most but not all cases, massive street protests followed disputed elections or requests for fair elections and led to the resignation or overthrow of leaders regarded of their opponents as authoritarians. Some events have been called color revolutions but differ from the above cases in certain basic characteristics. Examples include Lebanon's Cedar Revolution and Kuwait's Blue Revolution. Government figures in Russia, such as Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, have characterized color revolutions as externally fueled acts with a clear goal to influence the internal affairs that will destabilize the economy, conflict with the law, and represent a new form of warfare. Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that Russia must prevent color revolutions. We see what tragic consequences the wave of so-called color revolutions have led to. For us, this is a lesson and warning. We should do everything necessary so that nothing similar ever happens in Russia again, folks. We'll see where they've done all this, and this has all been being run by the U.S. government and attorneys here in the U.S., now being run against our president and his administration, Donald Trump. Here we go, the Yellow Revolution, Philippines, Coconut Revolution, Papua New Guinea, Velvet Revolution, Czechoslovakia, Bulldozer Revolution, Yugoslavia, Rose Revolution, Georgia, Second Rose Revolution, Georgia, Orange Revolution, Ukraine, Purple Revolution, Iraq, Tulip Revolution, Kazakhstan, Cedar Revolution, Lebanon, Blue Revolution, Kuwait, Jeans Revolution, Belarus, Saffron Revolution, Myanmar, Grape Revolution, Moldova, Green Movement, Iran, Melon Revolution, Kazakhstan, Jasmine Revolution, Tunisia, Lotus Revolution, Egypt. It goes on and on, folks. This is all U.S. government-run efforts to change the governments in all these places. Pearl Revolution, Bahrain, Coffee Revolution, Yemen, Jasmine Revolution, China, Snow Revolution, Colorful Revolution, Velvet Revolution, Armenia. Folks, this is all an effort to destabilize these governments and change the leadership so that the U.S. can control it. Many of these movements have been actually organized by someone named Norm Eisen. Let's meet Norm Eisen now. He's the legal hatchet man and central operative in the color revolution against President Trump. This article was brought to us by Revolver.news. Let's see what we've got here. Meet Norm Eisen, legal hatchet man and central operative in the color revolution against President Trump. The story was brought to us today by Revolver.news. In our report on Never Trump State Department official George Kent, Revolver News first drew attention to the ominous similarities between the strategies and the tactics the United States government employs in so-called color revolutions and the coordinated efforts of government bureaucrats, NGOs, and the media to oust President Trump. Our recent follow-up to this initial report focused specifically on a shadowy George Soros-linked group called the Transition Integrity Project, TIP, which convened war games exercises suggesting the likelihood of a contested election scenario and of issuing chaos should President Trump refuse to leave office. We further showed how these contested election scenarios we are hearing so much about play perfectly into the color revolution framework sketched out by Revolver News' first installment in the Color Revolution series. This is the third installment of Revolver News series exposing the color revolution against Trump, and we will focus on one quiet and indeed mostly overlooked participant in the Transition Integrities Project biased election war games exercise, a man by the name of Norm Eisen. This is the seditious traitor himself, folks. Look at that smile. Ugh. Y'all won't believe what he's been up to, folks. He's actually filed 180 plus lawsuits against President Trump to date. He's actually put together 10 articles of impeachment against President Trump before he even made the call to the Ukraine, folks. He was the special counsel for Democrats during the impeachment trial of President Trump. The article goes on, as the man who implemented the David Brock blueprint for suing the president into paralysis and his allies into bankruptcy, who helped mainstream and amplify the Russia hoax, who drafted 10 articles of impeachment for the Democrats a full month before President Trump even called the Ukraine president in 2018, who personally served as special counsel and litigated the Ukraine impeachment, who created a template for internet censorship of world leaders and a handbook for mass mobilization radical justice protesters to overturn democratic election results. There is perhaps no man alive with a more decorative resume for plots against President Trump. Norm ran color revolutions on behalf of the U.S. government, as we will find out, folks. Indeed, the story of Norm Eisen, a key architect in nearly every attempt to delegitimize, impeach, censor, sue, and remove the democratically elected 45th President of the United States, is a tale that winds through nearly every facet of the color revolution playbook. There is no pure embroiderment of Revolver's thesis that the very same regime change professionals who run color revolutions on behalf of the U.S. government in order to undermine or overthrow alleged authoritarian governments overseas are running the very same playbook to overturn Trump's 2016 victory and to preempt a repeat in 2020. To put it simply, what you see is not just the same color revolution playbook run against Trump, but the same people using it against Trump who have employed it in a professional capacity against targets overseas. Same people, same playbook. In Norm Essen's case, the same people, same playbook refrain takes an arrestingly literal turn when one realizes that Norm wrote a classic color revolution regime change manual and conveniently titled it The Playbook. Just what exactly is President Obama's former White House ethics czar? Yes, Norm Eisen was Obama's ethics czar, his longtime buddy since Harvard Law School, who recently partook in war games to simulate overturning a Trump electoral victory during writing a detailed playbook on how to use a color revolution to overthrow governments. The story of Norm Eisen only gets more fascinating, outrageous, and indispensable to understanding the planned chaos unfolding before our eyes, leading up to what will perhaps be the most chaotic election in our nation and its recent history. Before we can fully appreciate the significance of Norm Eisen's Color Revolution Manual, The Playbook, we must contextualize this important book in relation to its place in color revolution literature. Folks, we went on over it, but we will continue. A color revolution in its context refers to a specific type of coordinated attack that the United States government has been known to deploy against foreign regimes, particularly in Eastern Europe, deemed to be authoritarian and hostile to American interests. Rather than using a direct military intervention to effect regime change, as in Iraq, color revolutions attack a foreign regime by contesting its electoral legitimacy, organizing mass protests and acts of civil disobedience, and leveraging media contacts to ensure favorable coverage to their agenda in the Western press.
So, you just said it right there. Sounds like exactly what we're looking at Sounds like exactly what we knew was coming. Playbook is known. We've been told this multiple times that the playbook is known. And who wrote the playbook? Marmison. We're looking at an attempted color revolution within the United States. Maybe it's the Green New Deal revolution. This has been put in place a long time ago, and we're slowly moving through the motions. But I believe everything was known ahead of time, and I believe that the Patriots are 5 to 10 steps ahead and letting everybody out themselves and let the plan be known. Truly shining light in all the dark corners, watching the cockroaches run. So we need to stand strong, stand true. I know I keep saying it, staying true to our hearts, staying patience in our mind and our soul, and truly doing the research, doing the work, making the phone calls, and not giving up on what we know is real, what we know is true. And we need to keep coming back to music. We need to keep coming back to humor. And as I have been continually saying, that this journey, this fight is not over, and we have a lot more to go. There's many Patriots out there that are holding down the line, and we need to keep standing with them, because none of us can do this alone, and we all need to do our part, bring in faith and hope and true care for our country back. So I send lots of love and prayer out to our president, and know that the road will be rocky, but we'll make it through. We've got this in a big way. So I'm going to keep some more humor going on here, and we're going to add a little song that I saw this was posted. I believe it's called Pallets of Ballots, and originally posted by Brad Stoney. Brad Stoney, 1776, and it's a little video that's I found rather funny.
When I went to sleep, Trump had the lead. How the hell did we go from election day to election week? The posters got it wrong again, they must have been confused. But I tell ya, I about shit myself when I turn on the morning news, 'cause they found ballots full of ballots at 3 a.m. all the way from Georgia to Michigan. They took the off of their Sharpies and they filled them fuckers in. All those pallets full of ballots, all for Joe Biden. Well, isn't that sweet? He got just what he needs. They found just enough folks to give Sleepy Joe the lead. He said, come on, man, I hope you'll be a good sport. Donald Trump said, fuck that shit, I'll see your ass in court. Bring those pallets full of ballots you found at 3 a.m. all the way from Georgia to Michigan. They called Arizona early, and the only way to win is the pallets full of ballots all for Joe Biden. Somebody better wake him up, say Joe as Superman. To tell the truth, I think he forgot he was running for president. But it doesn't matter, 'cause they found pallets full of ballots at 3 a.m. all the way from Arizona to Wisconsin. They want us to bend over so they can fuck us again. There's pallets full of ballots, that's the only way they'll win. Well, there's pallets full of ballots, all for Joe Biden.
great. Love that one. Give it a like, give it a share. Yeah, I'm gonna retweet it right now. So this is the illusion. I'm sorry, the illumination zone, and I've been building this platform now for a little bit and trying to get myself to a place where I feel comfortable sharing all this information. And it takes me some time and some effort. So if you choose to support in the YouTube channel, there'll be a Venmo that you can choose to share. And this is my Twitter page if you want to go follow me on Twitter. Jai Hanuman G3. And I'm also on a few other Pilled and DLive, a few other places. So if you want to check me out, I'll have all the links below. And working on making this a little bit more smooth and trying to figure out all the little tricks of the trade. It's a whole new experience for me. So thanks for understanding and seeing my progression and being here with me from my infancy within online exploration. So we're going to start to end this show here. And I was online way longer than I thought I would. But, you know, the more I share, the more I get comfortable on this platform, the better everything gets. And hopefully, the more I meet of you, the better. So hopefully we can connect and send me a message, like, share, follow me on all the platforms. And I'll be trying to continue to go live a little bit more and more each day. Tomorrow might be late night. Might have a late night fireside chat, but we'll see how the evening goes. If you like, I'm on SoundCloud as well under DJ Nexius, and I put out 2 mixes a week. Some ecstatic dance mix on Monday, Tuesday, and a midweek medicine on Wednesday. So if you want to go over to SoundCloud, check that out, and check out what I'm mixing up. I try to make some good medicine music to soothe the soul. Some beats, some electronica, some wide range of world music. It's something to, you know, distract the mind from all of this political, swampy world that we tread into. So, got a lot more coming out. There's so much breaking right now. I'm just not even able to keep up with it all. So I think we're gonna close out the show with this amazing patriot, and this is Abby Cook. Just saw her recently and just discovered her. She is got a great way of great voice and just beautiful presence, I guess you'd say. Let's see if I can cue this up and lead us out. So once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for staying true and standing by our president. Keep doing the research. Keep sharing. No one can do it for you. You know, it's the work right now. We're being asked to step up. And, if we really care about this country, if we care about liberty, if you care about freedoms, then now's the time to really show your passion, show your care, and show up for your fellow patriots, show up for yourself, show up for your country, show up for your president. May God bless our president. May God look over after our president. May God protect his entire inner circle, his entire family, and all of those patriots who are standing up and fighting the good fight today. You shall see lots of wild breaking news over the next few days, and may we all stay centered and take care of ourselves, and just truly remember and believe that God wins. May you all have a blessed weekend. Hopefully see you soon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag